Hey guys, Troy here, back with another video today. Today we are going to be talking about basketball cards, and I'm going to be doing a video that's a little different. It's going to be a little bit more conversational, discussion based, as opposed to like point type of thing. And I'm going to be talking about NBA trade rumors, but more importantly, how they may affect card prices and how we potentially can get ahead of that. One of the first pieces of advice when I first got into sports cards was how hard it is to predict prospects, who's going to do well. For instance, people I talk about, your Bulls, your Sekus, they could 100% boom and become, really good players. His point was, though, that it's just so hard to say. There's people who get paid millions to figure out what prospects are going to do well, and even they really struggle to do it. But what he also told me was it's a lot easier to focus on the landscape of the NBA and try to get ahead of trades and what stars might be disgruntled and where they would have interest in moving. He told me that's a great way to profit, and that's a great way to get ahead of these price increases if you can kind of keep your ear to the ground and see what's going on. With that said, guys, I think this information will be useful to you, but the title is probably not going to be the most, clickbaity. So if you do like the video, I would really appreciate if you guys like it. That'll let me know that you actually did enjoy the video, and it'll help other people find it. Also, one more thing real quick. If you guys don't like the trade rumors, don't talk to me. Go talk to ESPN. I'm not the one reporting these. I'm not even saying they're true. I'm just giving my opinion on things that have been widely reported. So if you have any grievances, don't take them up with me. But okay, first trade rumor is Ben Simmons to the Golden State Warriors. Now, the trade package would be something involving the second pick and probably Andrew Wiggins, but the stuff leaving doesn't have much of an impact in my opinion. So obviously, the first person who will be hugely affected by this is Ben Simmons' card prices. I am honestly shocked at how cheap his prices are right now. A BGS 9.5 of his Prism rookie that has a much lower prop count than current Prisms just went for $175. I'm sorry for continuing to hate on people, but I'm telling you, that's Darius Garland, Jarrett Culver prices. And for me, Ben Simmons, a guy who just made an all-NBA team, I'd much rather roll the dice on his situation changing than on an unproven guy who I'm not even sure is a starting caliber player. And I'm super biased. I love the Warriors. I love Ben Simmons, but I just feel like he would be a great fit there. Steph Curry and Clay do not need the ball in their hands, and they love to play off the ball, and I really think they bring the best out of their teammates. So I could see this being a great fit. Curry prices would obviously rise, but those are already on a strong upward trajectory. I think the biggest recipients of price increases would, like I said, obviously Ben Simmons, but Klay Thompson, Pascal. Once again, I don't know the full intricacies of the trade, but maybe there's a way they can keep Andrew Wiggins. But basically anyone else on the Warriors team would definitely see an increase in prices because that trade would make them a legit contender. All right, the next trade rumor would be Gordon Hayward to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I also like this one a lot. I think it's obvious the Celtics kind of want to move on from Hayward, makes sense. And I think he'd be a good fit for the Hawks. Being a veteran, bringing some sort of leadership, and really what the Hawks need is just some sort of stability. Gordon Hayward has plenty of faults, but even at this point in his career, I think you can count on him to be a solid player. Now, however, in this case, I personally would not recommend investing in Gordon Hayward. I don't think that's the move, but I think it would be big for guys like Trae Young, John Collins, and Cam Reddish. I've talked about all those guys, at least at some point on this channel, but I really do feel like if they can do any type of winning this year, especially in a wide open East, their prices will really rise. And honestly, like I said, it really doesn't take much in the East. So even some of you guys who are down on Gordon Hayward, I still believe that bringing him in could be enough to get him to the playoffs. And now Trae Young is obviously not Luka, but if you saw what happened to Luka prices when he was just in the first round of the playoffs, even if, let's say, Trae gets half of that attention or he has half of that production, you can do the math right there and predict what might happen to his prices. Next trade, Chris Paul to the New York Knicks. Now, this is one of the rare trades where I think it would actually be good for both teams. The Thunder would really start to get to embrace their youth, and the Knicks would get some much needed stability and leadership inside of their organization. And the first player I think this would be good for is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think for him to be able to take what he learned from CP3 this year and become the real leader of that team, the focal point of the offense, I really do think he can handle it. And he was kind of like the darling of the hobby a couple months ago, and I think things kind of cooled off when he didn't go absolutely insane in the bubble. I've seen this story before plenty of times. It's like everyone's excited, then it doesn't happen all at once, and they take a little dip, and then boom, it hits. So I think him just having more of an opportunity, more time with the ball in his hands, is just going to be good for him as a player. Even if he has some bumps early on, which is natural, getting accustomed to that role, I think he has a chance to really seize the moment and ascend into that all-star conversation. The next player who it benefits would be RJ Barrett in New York. RJ Barrett already got his chance to have the ball in his hands and not have to worry about other people taking shots. And to be quite honest, it didn't go that great, but he still played pretty well. What RJ Barrett needs is to have some good players around him. And in terms of floor generals who can help him out, I can't think of many better than Chris Paul. I think RJ Barrett will learn a lot from him. I've talked about before, RJ Barrett is a winning basketball player. He needs to be on a winning team, or at least not a terrible team. And also the fact that it does not take much at all to get people excited about the New York Knicks. So once again, in the East, it doesn't take much. If they can be in that hunt for the 8th seed, I think a ton of eyes are going to be on RJ Barrett, and that'll do nothing but good for his prices. And I don't think this trade will really do much for Chris Paul's prices. I don't really see them having a big rise, but in general, I also think Chris Paul is a pretty good long-term hold, especially with how low his prices are. I mean, at the very least, I'll probably pick up one of his cards just because I always got to respect a Wake Forest legend. But okay guys, I hope you enjoyed. Honestly, the reason I watch a lot of videos or sports card content or any of this stuff is just to give me ideas of players. Not to necessarily be told who to buy, but just to get an idea of what people are thinking and what players might be moving into different situations. So while this was a different video, I hope I was able to deliver that to you guys and at least get some ideas flowing in your head. But if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe down below. We're going to keep them coming. Thanks again.